快点。
世界级的大问题，美国罗斯福号航空母舰的很多水手确诊感染新冠肺炎，他们是从哪里感染的呢？这也太蹊跷了吧！这条航空母舰可是绝对不许中国人登上的吧？而且2020年1月，他已经离开美国本土，航行在太平洋上。难道病毒会随海风刮几千公里，从中国刮到美国航母上？如果这病毒真有这么远的传播距离，我真得思考一下，某些导弹是不是过时的问题。所以，蓬佩奥的武汉病毒说，特朗普此前的中国病毒说，在罗斯福号航母的新冠肺炎患者面前，又面临一个解释。
我们对蓬佩奥的上述言行予以强烈谴责。正如中方多次指出，新冠病毒溯源问题是个复杂的科学问题，需要听取科学和专业的意见。然而，这个美国政客却执意逆国际共识而动，继续对中国搞污名化，诋毁抹黑中方的抗疫努力，企图借此转移视线、转嫁责任，用心极其险恶。
国家有难你不到，回国投毒里有一套。要是中国人，你哪来的回廊？少让这14亿同胞再跟你沾这挂浪。
让我把手腕咬的国家忘得差不多了。
人多吗？我们回家来，你看这不说，万一任何人有什么问题么？哪个负责任？
你们是不是不少病人？不少病人我们就拖走。
他看不是啊。
躺了病走啊。这个病人坐在那里，你们看不看？
呀，这个没得医生，没得床的。
我医生吗？
我可以来找急诊外科对吧？我哪晓得你们都是什么这个情况呢？
我们这没有骨科医生。
那他给我坐这里没得病床，没得医生，我看一下我们走，就这个意思。所以说我们要说清楚，你们这到底灵关天对吧？他也是一个病人。
我们这报纸没有骨科医生这里。
那这里有没有个领导可以说善呢？这个我找急诊外科啊，我不会把他拖到顾客去对吧？你也不让我进去怎么呢？
这没有骨科医生，这就说了嘛。
那这个不是不少，是不是意思？
没有，你那个医生哪个给你看呢？
你们同济医院没得骨科医生？
医生在支援去了，在管我带你们。
整个同济医院没得一个骨科医生吗？
现在没有。
你是不是一个都没得？
现在是没有。
好，你一个都没得，是不是没得？
现在没有。
你们是不是不少 ？OK， 行了，有你那个话就够了。
Men and women in uniform policing the pandemic are getting sick too. More than 500 members of the NYPD have tested positive for COVID-19.
The number of cases in the U.S. jumped again overnight to at least 102,000, with 1,600 deaths now. The U.S. now has more reported cases than any other country in the world. Nearly 45,000 of those cases are in New York State.
As the international community struggles to deal with the coronavirus pandemic, North Korea has conducted another weapons test.
North Korea fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles on Sunday from its eastern coastal city of Wonsan towards the East Sea at around 6:10 a.m.
This in Italy's north. This church is full that is, of coffins, the priests opening their doors as a makeshift morgue. Berlin police controlling people's movements in ways not seen since the days of East Germany's Stasi secret police. The scene is no different in London, where this enormous convention centre will soon open as a 4,000-bed hospital.
China is engaged in a massive propaganda campaign to convince the world that it is not really responsible for COVID-19, the virus causing public health and economic chaos around the globe. The Chinese themselves are an amazing, hard-working people, and Australian Chinese are the most wonderful citizens of our nation. But the Chinese communist dictatorship is a sinister and deeply untrustworthy entity profiting from this calamity when they should be paying for it.
Steve, just 20 seconds on this, and let's get to China. What do you think here?
It's very powerful. Every day he gets up there and he walks through the power moves that he's doing to help the governors and to help the mayors. And that's why people are tuning in. They want that information. I think these things cannot stop. He's a wartime president. We're at war against one of the most dangerous enemies the country's ever had. We're in an economic crisis that he's solving with Congress. I think it actually needs to be expanded with other people, but President Trump's part of it, I think, is very powerful and must continue. The country needs it.
All right, and China accountable, real quick.
Okay, well, look, we now know that China knew about human-to-human transmission. Look, President Trump is dealing with Xi at a level he has to deal with it. The two countries have to get along. The Chinese people, who are the most decent, hardworking people on earth, have been really terrorized, I think, by the Chinese Communist Party. The Chinese Communist Party knew about this maybe as early as late November, and they didn't really fess up to human-to-human transmission until they couldn't hide it anymore. It's their biological Chernobyl, and they basically fessed up to it in mid-January. That is about 45 to 60 days. This thing metastasized. The destruction in the world's capital markets, the destruction in pension funds, in value, in the human lives from Italy to India to Europe to the United States and to China. Remember, they were the biggest victims of this, is on the doorsteps of the Chinese Communist Party. They are absolutely responsible for this, and they must be held accountable. You're seeing people in the Senate right now saying that, like Josh Hawley, Marco Rubio, Senator Cotton, are saying they have to be held accountable. I think every company that took a penny must sue them in federal court. I also think that any company that takes a penny must bring the supply chain back. And I got to tell you, the peoples of the world, and particularly
that should have been strings attached in that package.
We've got to get that back in there. And this is, by the way, the people that we're fighting for is also the Chinese people. These people are terrific. This is a totalitarian dictatorship. If you see what they allowed, they lied about what was going on in Wuhan to the people in Wuhan, and the doctors who were the heroes there who exposed it were tortured and forced to sign confessions. They were rumor mongers. These doctors went back, and Dr. Li, who's a martyr and a world hero, went back and died giving treatment to the people in Wuhan. That's the quality of people you have in China. And these are the monsters in the Chinese Communist Party. They must be held accountable.
Steve, always appreciate it.
Thanks,
Biological Chernobyl. Unbelievable.
Thanks, brother.
Yes, Maria, the Chinese Communist Party is still lying. Back in January, I knew that this virus had the potential to become a worldwide pandemic for two reasons. Not because I'm a scientist or an epidemiologist, but because I could see, one, how the Chinese Communist Party was lying and two, the dramatic, extreme measures they were taking, like locking in 75 million people into their homes and apartment buildings. Those two things simply did not line up. You see it again today. So, for instance, China says they have no more new cases, no more new deaths, yet they just closed all movie theaters nationwide only a few days after having opened them up. Or look at some of the mortuaries in Wuhan itself. They say they've only had 2,500 cases that have resulted in deaths or so, yet a single mortuary has ordered more than 5,000 urns. You can look at these basic facts to know that the Chinese Communist Party is still lying today as they were in December and January, and that's why what could have been a local health problem in Wuhan turned into a global pandemic from which more than 2,000 Americans have now died.
I spend 80% of my time working with freedom groups to basically assist the Chinese people in throwing off this brutal dictatorship, which are nothing but just the same type of gangsters that came up in the 1930s in Italy and in Germany, in other countries, and in Japan. Nothing but gangsters, and that's exactly what they are, and the world will not be saved until they are removed. And the only people that can remove them are the Chinese people, and that's why every day I try to do something to assist the decent, hardworking people in China. I want to get back now to Sam Faddis. So, Sam, take us through the other alternative. And I want to tell people, this is what Cotton has said. It's incumbent upon the Chinese Communist Party, Jack, to be more forthcoming to the World Health Organization and to the CDC and others. We know they lied to the World Health Organization because in 14 January, in a tweet, the head of the World Health Organization, no matter how incompetent he is or how corrupt he is, he put out the tweet that the Chinese official has said they have told us there's no human-to-human transmission. That was a lie. We now know in the course of events, the chain of events, that they lied about that. That was a lie, okay? And that is what has led to this horrific outbreak. Now, Sam, what's the other alternative? Tell people about this, about the P4 lab and what the other alternative might be.
Right. Well, the other alternative to this being just simply a naturally occurring virus is that in one way or the other, this thing came out of this biological level 4 lab, this P4 lab in Wuhan, which is, I mean, for people that aren't familiar, that means this is the lab. If you've ever seen any movie about outbreak or a virus where everybody's wearing moon suits walking around, that's what we're talking about. It works with the most dangerous organisms on the planet. And we know that that lab is in proximity to where this outbreak began, and we know that it has worked with the coronavirus. And so there is a possibility here either that this virus is weaponized, in other words, it is a weapon. We don't know that yet, but that is certainly a possibility. There's also another possibility, which I personally think is extremely viable, which is, okay, they hadn't weaponized it yet, but they were, in fact, playing with it, researching it, working with it, potentially for biological warfare purposes. And it got loose on them. And people may think that's impossible, but it's not impossible at all. And in the system that you've described and describe every day, where telling the truth to the boss probably produces bad results for you. The possibility of incompetence and something happening at that lab and somebody not even reporting it up the chain is very, very real. And I'm 100% behind Senator Cotton and the others that have been out there saying, this is not science fiction, guys. This is absolute reality, and we need to know whether or not that's what just happened.
所以说，兄弟姐妹们，如果在这个人类遇到最大的挑战和危机，而且是共产党第一次面临着生死选择的时候，只有一个爆料革命敢说出共产党的真相，只有爆料革命是无私无我的，没有利益的，在拯救全世界人民，在拯救全中国人民。只有香港人民在为灭掉共产党每天被强奸、被轮奸、被杀害、被死亡。香港人民和我 都不需要这么做。但是我们选择了这条上天和上神给我们的使命，我们就会坚决走到底。胜利一定属于我们的，共产党今年一定被灭亡，中国人一定将拥有一个真正的法治和信仰自由的社会，受到全世界人尊重的社会，让全世界人民打开大门，欢迎中国人就业、学习、交流。中国人将全世界认可为一个体面的、勤劳的、善良的民族。爆料革命任重道远，灭共已不在话下，一定会实现。我们让中国人得到全世界的尊重，和全世界人民一起来面对人类的大灾难，那才是中国人的崛起。